I know, it's been a while. I think it's been 10 days since I've uploaded a video. Finals are done with school. Your boy's back in action. I know we've missed a lot since my last video. Two of the series that I watched the most and were the most interested in were the Dallas Mavericks against the Suns and the Celtics against the Bucks, which we will be talking about. I'm not really going to go over against Miami Philly. I don't have too much to say in that series. I kind of saw it coming. James Harden had one big game. Other than that, wasn't too great. Joel Embiid dealt with some injuries. And Miami looked good. So that's really all I had to say there. And then the Warriors against Memphis. Didn't really have too much to say there. John Morant got out with an injury. Memphis had a big game 5, but the Warriors came in 6 to take it home. Game 6 Clay. We all know about that. So, yeah, but I'm mostly going to be going into these two right here. A lot of reds on the screen from last time. Last time it was looking all green. Now we got a lot of reds. You can see there I had the Phoenix Suns winning the NBA championship, which, yeah. Also, sorry if the energy's not up to par. I got to keep it down a little bit. You know, it's kind of late at night. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to wake the fam up. But, yeah, I mean, over here, Grant Williams is a beast. Grant Williams is an absolute beast. The Bucks' game plan seemed to be like, let Grant Williams open and shoot the ball, and he was splashing them. I mean, I know 7 for 18 three-point attempts. That's crazy to look at. It was weird because there was times where I was looking and he was breaking a lot of shots, and I'm like, I'm not mad because he's open. Like, keep taking them. And then they finally started to drop in that third quarter, and I was like, there we go, man. Still 7 for 18. I mean, that's still. I mean, it's 39% from 3, so that's really good right there. It's so funny to see Grant Williams have 18, like 22 shot attempts total. Like, that's just like the craziest thing for me to see. Because I'm so used to like him like back in his freshman and sophomore. I think this is his 3rd year now, but back in his freshman and sophomore year, he would play 35 minutes a game, take 3 or 4 shots, and I'd be like, all he's doing is running around there playing mediocre defense and can't hit a 3. Now he plays really good defense and is a really good 3-point shooter. I mean, we're talking about a guy who shot 40+% from the 3. Thank you, lethal shooter. And Grant Williams is just filthy. Jason Tatum, he had a good first quarter. I mean, I think he dropped, or not first quarter, first half, he dropped like 14, I think, at the end of the first half, which was the same as Giannis. He wasn't really shooting the ball too much, but, you know, it definitely looked like Jason Tatum was going to have a good game. And then the third quarter happened, and just right away at the start of the second half, he gave us the lead we needed. I think he had like 11 straight consecutive points in the second half, which was huge to give us the lead. And then he got into some foul trouble, and then he hit the bench, and that's when I was a little bit nervous because I was like, hopefully we don't slip away this lead with Tatum being on the bench. And then other guys like Grant Williams started to heat up. Jaylen Brown hit some really big shots. Marcus Smart was getting to the line. Who else has some big plays? Payne Pritchard was dropping buckets. That was towards like the 4th, though. I think it was like late 3rd towards the 4th is when he like, okay, this game is over. Payne Pritchard looking like Steve Nash, man. I mean, absolutely disgusting. Hitting step-back threes. Payne Pritchard has some of the nastiest step-back threes I've ever seen. It's like he's so quick. It's like weird. You don't expect it when you watch him, but it's like the fastest quick step-back, and he gets a lot of separation from a guard that's like pretty small. You know, so he doesn't have the longest legs, right? I'd assume because he's not the tallest. So like. But he goes flying back on a step back. Sometimes I'm like, damn. But yeah, I mean, it was just everyone putting effort in the Celtics game. Derek White was pissing me off for a while. If we lost this game, for the first half, it was really close. I had no clue that we were going to end up blowing them out in the second half. But I was watching, I'm like, if we lose this game, it's going to be because of Derek White. Because I love Derek White. I love the addition. I still love that we have him on the team. It was a big-time trade. He does add a lot of good things even when he plays bad on the defensive side. But, man, he was being left wide open for 3, clank, clank, clank. And then there was another time where he was wide open, doesn't decide to take the shot, drives onto drives to the hoop in a really bad contested layup, and Bobby Portis just blocks the fuck out of him. Wasn't even close to a foul. I was like, bro, if you're not going to take the open three, at least go in and take a midi jumper, or maybe, try to have a better attempt at drawing a foul. I don't know. It didn't even seem like he was trying to draw a foul. It was rough from Derek White, but I'm sure he'll bounce back. He had a pretty good game 6, so I think we'll see better from him. But yeah, that's what I gotta say there. And then the Bucks, you look at the box score and you could say that Giannis struggled, 10 for 26, 1 for 4 from 3, but it was just to the point where, like, everything had to go through Giannis. Nothing else was working. And this is a game where, it seems pretty obvious to say, but this is a game where they definitely could have used Chris Middleton, just a guy that could go out there and hit them tough shots, because their half-court offense was terrible. It was just the same thing. It was like, give Giannis the ball and let him ISO, and we were just all on it. They needed a guy who could be a shot maker and create his own shots. Drew Holiday's been trying to do that throughout this whole series, and although he's had some good games for the majority, you know what you're going to get from Drew Holiday. You're going to get like a 8 for 24 or like a 9 for 21, as you can see here. It's just going to be the same thing. And usually he gets at least a couple threes. He had no threes this game, so that was definitely big. But yeah, they really could have used a guy like Chris Middleton. But yeah, the Boston Celtics advanced to the conference finals. Now, if the Bucks had Chris Middleton, do I think they would have won this series? Who knows? Who knows, right? But their chances would have gone up a lot. We're talking about a second option go-to scorer. So the fact that Giannis even, made this as close as it was all the way up to a Game 7. I know Game 7 was a blowout here with the Celtics in the second half at least. Giannis has just proven that he's still the best player in the league. And if you don't want to say the best, then he's one of the best, that's for sure. But, yeah, wild series here. I think easily the best out of the second round. You could argue the Dallas and Phoenix Suns, but I forgot to put that music on for y'all, man. But, do I even go over this game? I missed, like, the first, I think, like, 8 minutes of the game because I was at work, and then I looked on my phone and I saw they were up by, like, 10-15. I was like, oh, the Suns will come back. They're going to make this competitive. And then I got home, and it was the second quarter, and they were up by, like, almost 30. I'm like, what is happening, bro? And then, yeah, they went on to go up by 41. I think they almost went up by 50 at one point in the game. Crazy. I honestly didn't watch too much of this game, but from what I could see, Luka went absolutely crazy. Spencer Dinwiddie, I actually had a lot in the first quarter. I think it was mostly Spencer Dinwiddie in the first and second quarter. And then Jalen Brunson started to heat up in the second half. But yeah, I just didn't really watch most of this game after I saw they were up like 20 plus. And I think Devin Booker didn't hit his first field goal until like midway through the third quarter. At least that's what I heard. Which, by looking at the box score is pretty believable. Pretty bad here. The Suns, man, if I'm the Suns, I really don't know what you do next season, because the Suns, like, they kind of have a lot of decisions to make. I was like on the verge of saying they really don't, which I don't think they're really going to shake up the roster too much, and I don't really think they necessarily should, I guess, because I don't know, there's not really much you could do with the Suns. I don't really think you have many trade assets other than like Devin Booker, who I consider an untouchable, Mikal Bridges. You got to decide to give DeAndre Ayton a max contract because that's what he wants. I don't think DeAndre Ayton is worth that. But at the same time, it's like you're not going to let him go into free agency, so you pretty much got to lock up a contract there with DeAndre Ayton. Maybe you could get him on a 1-year deal, see how things go, and then give him the max, or you could have him on the 1 year, go halfway through the season, decide to make a trade, and then you get some assets. If you're the Suns, whatever you do, do not let DeAndre Ayton go through free agency. Chris Paul, I still think he's going to be great next year. It's just I don't know how much at this point you can rely on Chris Paul to be able to be healthy throughout every single series leading up to a championship. He's got to be healthy round 1, 2, conference, and then the finals. And a lot of those are probably going to be 6-7 game series, which I don't know if Chris Paul at this point in his career is going to be able to maintain, being healthy throughout a whole playoff stretch. So there's just a lot of question marks here for the Suns that I don't really have the answer to yet. But I don't think this team can run it back next year and win a championship. I think this was their best bet to win the championship. You have a 62-win season in the regular season. You look absolutely dominant. Heading into the playoffs, I had a lot of high hopes for this team. It did feel like they were missing something, whether it was a guy off the bench or, another guy that could get some guaranteed buckets. It did feel like they were missing a little bit something, but I just thought that this team had the chemistry, the IQ, and everything from last season is going to be able to build over. And, all credit to the Dallas Mavericks, but I don't even know what to say here for the Phoenix Suns. That Game 7 was pretty bad. But I'll do a quick little, around 10 minutes into the video, I'll do a quick little review into the upcoming playoff matchups that we have. Here we are, man. Here we are, the conference finals. So we got Dallas against the Warriors, and then the Heat against Boston. Heat against Boston, I'll tell you this right away. I think at least 3 of the games, maybe 3 is a stretch, at least 2 or 3 games are going to be held within 100 points. It is going to be a defensive battle. It's going to be a lot of chirping, a lot of fighting, a lot of bodying, a lot of physicality. This is going to be such a good series to watch. The matchups are so good between the players. They have a lot of similarities between the two teams. I think, of all the teams in the NBA, I think the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics probably relate the most when it comes to player personnel. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works. It's really just going to be what team is able to hit more shots at the end of the day. That's why I think, because you're going to get great defense. Guys like Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum are going to step up. Role players are going to be big. We see Miami Heat role players be really good. We've seen the Boston Celtics role players be really good. And then we have the Dallas Mavs against the Golden State Warriors. And this is going to be a fun game to watch, man. Luka against Steph Curry. It's just going to be the battle of fucking, I don't even know, dude. It's just going to be nasty. I didn't even give my pick. So Miami-Boston, in my original predictions, I had Miami Heat make it to the finals. I have the Celtics beating the Miami Heat in another 7-game series. And they will be winning it in Miami. And then we got Dallas against the Warriors. I feel like the Dallas Mavericks streak has to end here. I know throughout the whole season I've been not against the Dallas Mavericks. I just haven't had a lot of high hopes, and they just continue to prove me wrong. But I think I got to go with the Warriors here, and I'll go with the Warriors in 6. I feel like I shouldn't have 2 7-game series in 6 or 7. It's a tough one, though, because this is another one of those games where it's a really good matchup between 2 of the teams. Like, if Dallas goes small ball, so can the Warriors, and that's something that Phoenix at times kind of struggled with, being able to go small ball. Not that they couldn't necessarily, it's just that that's, they want to utilize DeAndre Ayton, which makes sense. But I know this is random, but I want to go back to this Bucks-Celtics series here, because I feel like I didn't really miss a valuable point, but something throughout the whole series that we saw was that Bucks always run off of letting the other team hit the 3 ball, right? But this series, it was getting ridiculous. As a Celtics fan, I was getting a little bit pissed off at the Bucks and Mike Budenholzer, because you go into the second half, there were so many open threes, and a lot of them, like I said, were Grant Williams, but it was even guys who can hit 3-point shots. Like, I saw Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. There was times where it's just like, they were open for no reason. It would be drive, kick out. A guy would always be open. And they started double teaming Jason Tatum, which I didn't really understand, because even though Jason Tatum was hot in that second half and he had 11 consecutive points, I don't think you necessarily needed to double team him. I felt like Drew Holiday was doing a good enough job on him, because Drew Holiday was the primary defender on Jason Tatum. It was Wesley Matthews, but they said, hey, let's change it up. Let's go with Drew Holiday, which I actually liked. And then they started doubling. It's just, I was confused by that, because it's like, now you're leaving guys open for threes who are making them. And then, they were down by 10, 15 20 and they kept doing that, and then it got to the point where they're like, okay, now we're gonna step up. Okay, now you're gonna step up when you're down 25-30 and you can't come back. Yeah, I was just confused by that. And Mike Budenholzer, I don't want to blame him for this series, but you know, he's gonna be a guy who keeps his job regardless because of that championship he had last season. But there definitely was some questionable things that he did in the series. When it came to the defensive side, I mean, also the offensive side when it came to the half-court offense, but I don't really want to put too much blame on him because it's hard to create half-court offense when you don't have your second best scorer. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt for that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I had to say about all this stuff here, and I will keep you guys updated for the conference finals, and I have some other videos coming out. I think I got a Wordle Purtle coming out either tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, man, it's good to be back. Sorry for being gone. I love y'all, man, and peace.